Alright, so what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to put the 10 bolt back together. That consists of a new spool, ring and pinion, and if anyone knows what all this mess down here is, that is shims and bearings and all of that. I'll get the phone set up here, or phone camera set up here in a few minutes on the tripod, and I'll try to show some of the on and offs with the bearings and stuff like that. I can't show you right now, but this and the two bearings I have for the carrier bearings on the end of the spool, I call them cheater bearings. I have opened them up to where they just barely slide on and off. If you're just learning about this, that's the only way to do it, really. Because like this, I'm going from scratch, really. I'm going to get an idea of where the other one was at and kind of go from there, but I'll probably wind up taking this thing in and out 10, 12, maybe even 15 times. I don't know. If I get real lucky, 5 or 6 times. So, with that said, I'm going to get the phone set up, and then I'll show you kind of how the bearings work and where the shims go and stuff like that. Alright, I'm going to knock the old races out, or I've already knocked one of them out. I've got to turn the rear a little bit. I'm actually going to turn this down. This might be a little tricky. And don't laugh at what I'm using. I don't have a punch here, so I'll use the next best thing I can. And these races, they're really in there, so you gotta. I'll show you put them back in here in a minute. Alright, so there's the old inner race, and here is the old outer race. I probably could have used these, wouldn't have had any problem, but we got new ones, so we'll put new ones in, and I'll show you a trick on how to put them in without having to have a tool. Let me get the new one out, and I will be right back. Alright, so got my bearings out. If you guys want to know the part number, this is standard 10 bolt stuff on the pinion, and the carrier may be a little different because we went with a spool. But the bearing number, and this is a Koyo bearing, but the bearing numbers are the same, whether it's Koyo or Advanced brand bearing, or I can't think of the other. I got the carrier bearings from O'Reilly's, but Power Nation or something like that. Anyway, the numbers are the same, but this is the inner pinion bearing, and it is M802011-M. That's M802011-M. I'm sorry, N. On the race, the bearing number is M80204-S-N. On the pinion bearing, and these are Koyos right here. That's what was in it before. Didn't have no trouble, so I'm good. It's made in Japan, so at least it ain't China. But I said that out loud, didn't I? The bearing number is M88048-N, and the race number is M88010-N. So that's where we're at with that. Let me wipe this out a little bit. I got a little dirt in it a while ago. Knocking it out. We've already cleaned the housing and all of that stuff, so we don't. Let me move this up a little bit. That probably ain't much better. Maybe like that. But so I don't want to get a whole lot of junk in here. Flat part of the bearing always goes down, like so. Now, little trick you can do. Put the old race on. You can't knock it all the way because you don't want this race to stick. But you can knock it in with that. Oh, I got a bearing missing. Not a bearing, but a cheater, so to speak. Oh, here's the one from where I've done it the very first time. When we got this rear end, it was trash, so we had to see how I'm moving the hammer around on it, not just hitting on one side or the other. You got to, you know, go back and forth, because if you hit it all on one side, you know, then it'll get loppy in there and it won't work. So you don't want that. I'm getting really close. Yeah, that was a big hammer. Sounds like it's in, but good solid hit. I'll do that one more time. Alright. Now I'll look at the back. I'll try to show you when I get when I turn it over on the back. You can look on the back and make sure that the bearing's on the seat. And I'm going to try to find a punch where I can just barely go around the edge and make sure it's in. A lot of people don't put bearing races in this way. This is the only way I've ever done them. We used to do a lot of four-wheeling, hill climbing, rock crawling. I've set up Dana 44s, Dana 60s, GM 14 bolts. I had a Dodge 9 1/4 one time. It caught a lot of abuse. But, you know, I put them in this way. I've never had any problems. This may be a first, but up till now, it's been all good. So we're going to try it this way. Now, I got to turn it over and get to where I can put the bearing down through the back. I'm going to move this new bearing where it don't hit the floor, get all kind of dirt and stuff in it. So the table right here is a little short. I have a hard time with some stuff on it, but it'll do. It always has. And I'll show you, well, I don't know if you can see it, but I got the stands where I took my old shovel head motor apart. We'll be getting into that one of these days if I can ever get my motor back from Spartanburg Harley Davidson. And I got no complaints there. It is what it is with that. It ain't been up there but 5 years, but really need to scratch this thing up if I can help it. We painted it and made it all look pretty. So I'm gonna run the bias in on this. scratch it too bad. Flat part of the race goes down. You always want the cone part here out where the bearing goes in. This is the old race. I'm gonna do the same thing. Probably gonna knock it sideways, but we will see. Need a little bit better flat surface. Oh yeah, she's mad. I'm gonna pause for a minute and look for something just a little better. I'll be right back. Alright, speaking of that four-wheel drive stuff I was talking about a while ago, this is an old leaf spring plate that we made. We made tons and tons of stuff for those trucks. That'll fit right on it. Hammer right there is heavy. That's like a 15-pound sledge. I like using it on short stroke stuff because, well, it makes stuff move. Makes it move pretty good. Found the bottom that big. So now I'm going to do the same thing, put the old race, turn it skinny lip, the skinny lip, I'm going to wham it again. One more again. more solid. Now, I'm going to bring the camera over and show you see right here on this lip, when you're knocking the race in, you want to be very careful. Like I was using soft steel, or if you're using a chisel, I've seen some guys do it with air hammers. There's just all kind of different ways to do it, but you don't want to fray this edge. You don't want to chip it, scar it. And as you can see down way, I can't get my hand down in there, but on the bottom, that's the bottom of the front outer pinion or front race, whichever one you want to call it. But so let me get this set back over here, and I'm gonna clean a few things, and we're gonna get I'm gonna turn it back over, or not over, but up, and I'm gonna get the pinion, and we're gonna start trying to set it up. Alright, so here what I'm doing is we're going to put the pinion in. Right there I had to make a cheater bearing for it on this particular one. This is the new and improved, they call it pinion. So we made a cheater bearing, and here I'm just sliding it in and explaining how we put it on and how I use a crush sleeve eliminator. And it worked real good, and we got it in. Alright, I had a air hose in the background keeping a lot of noise, so I'm going to do the voiceover right here. But what I'm showing is we got the pinion in and how that worked, how it's got just a little drag but it spins free. And here I'm taking the right and left cap off, and you want to keep your right and left cap on each side, the side they come off of. They're supposed to be machined to the pumpkin that way. That way you don't have no issues there. That bolt was tied in there for some reason or another, but it come loose. See, I'm laying them over where I don't get them confused with each other. Now here, getting ready to put the spool in, and I'm showing about how the cheater bearings work, how they go on and off, and how you can put shims behind the bearing, or you can put them on the side like I done. I didn't put the bearings, the shims behind the bearing. If you want to do them that way, that's perfectly fine. But it's just easier for me to put the shims on the outside. Yeah, see how I'm showing how the cheater bearings work? They just slide on and off. It makes everything way more simple when you are setting it up.